1, 2, 3.
Are you a corrupt politician? Or am I being redundant?
Well, she sneaks around the world from Maryland to Carolina. She's a sticky-fingered filter from Berlin down to Belize. She'll take you for a ride on the boat to China. Tell me where in the world is
Jan Sanders?
there's only South Korea, making honey cook triangle from the Red Sea to Greenland. Will they singing the blues? Or will they never Arkansas still? The beat come from a jungle. Tell me where in the world is
Jan Sanders?
we go from Nashville to Norway, but air to Zimbabwe, Chicago to Czechoslovakia and back. Well, she'll ransack Pakistan and Afghanistan and Scandinavia, then just stick 'em up down under and go big pocket burden. She was Memphis and misdemeanor when she stole the beans from Levi. Tell me where in the world is
Jan Sanders?
tell me where in the world. Come on, tell me where can she be? Botswana to Thailand, Milan via Amsterdam, Bali to Bali, Ohio. Oh, whoa, ooh, the cheese. Ooh, the cheese. Monday to Friday at 5. She flies around the globe and jumping from every nation. She's a double-dealing diva with a taste for favoring. Her itinerary's loaded with moving violations. Tell me where in the world is
Jan Sanders?
tell me where in the world is where in the world is. Tell me where in the world is where can she be? Where in the world is
Jan Sanders?
watch your back.
Hi, welcome back to the series here. I'm Nate Taves,
I'm Khoury.
and we are examining, as I blind myself, the... I have to explain this. We're sitting in a dark room with candles as our only light source, and I happen to have a battery-operated light that I just shone in my eyes. I'm trying to turn it on because I can't tell which end is up with this thing. Because I'm trying to read articles here as part of this podcast. So in the last section you heard about why the LD show got defunct and what happened with Janice Grill a little bit as far as the dismissal goes. So let's just delve a couple more minutes into the Janice Grill thing, and then we'll go into this next article, which is shorter than the last one, I guarantee that.
Yeah.
So the Janice Grill thing, we delve into who Janice Grill was. Yeah, Heidi Berkowitz was the alternative to Janice Grill as far as the writing center goes.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't know about you, but I work better with Janice than Heidi. How about you?
Yeah, I'd say so.
Yeah, not that Heidi was bad if you liked somebody to be extremely tough and extremely degrading on your stuff. But I would rather have a slit cut into the top of my big toe than go through another interaction with Berkowitz. So, yeah, how's that all relate to Jane Sanders? Well, let's see here. She dismissed Janice Grill without any really good reason as far as anybody could tell.
Yep.
And then when I went and questioned her about it, she said, well, I'm not at liberty to discuss that. It's a personnel issue. And I said, oh, really? Well, could you tell me what it concerned then? Because as somebody with a learning disability, I gotta say, I benefited greatly from her being there. She said, well, that's odd, because that's what it concerned. But I can't talk about it. And I said, well, you just said to me that personnel issue, and you just told me that it had something to do with learning disabilities. What did it have to do with learning disabilities? Well, she did something that wasn't very kosher with learning disability, and that's why she got dismissed, but I can't talk about it. You just told me something, but you just said that you can't talk about it. Well, I can't. Those are the kind of conversations I was having with her back and forth. And I said, well, look, for all intents and purposes, I've taped a couple of the BCSA meetings. I would like to know what your response is. Would you like to view the tapes and then get back to me with the response? Because there was nothing in those tapes that people weren't saying to her face.
Yeah.
And they said, okay, well, that's fine. Blah, 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 at the BCSA meetings. Well, I went up, gave her the tapes, and she said, yeah, all right, I'd like to view the tapes. Well, she never viewed the tapes, probably because she was making copies of them for herself, for her lawyer, but she claimed to have never viewed the tapes. And I said, well, look, technically those aren't my tapes because there was no sign in the back. I said, look, those are technically my tapes. I had to shell out of my pocket for them. I want them back. And it took Josh Lambert, Mary Vidham, and somebody else going up there before I got the tapes back. And, don't get me wrong, I don't bite the hand ever that feeds you, but, I was perfectly happy, it's deserved, but I was perfectly happy that they went up and fought on my behalf to get those tapes back. But does that, excuse them from the behavior of treating me as persona non grata and turning their backs on me when they could align themselves with the money of the college? I don't think so. And when I say persona non grata, I'll get into that in one of the next couple of episodes on this subject, because believe me, there's a lot to be said for that. But anyway, continuing right along. The next article in question. Burlington College President Jane Sanders, expanding vision, not just a pretty view. And this is from the Burlington College website. It says, Jane Sanders expands new campus vision. And it's transformational for Burlington College, quote-unquote. College President Jane Sanders says of the institution's recent move to from their old 95 North Ave campus, Chestnut Store to Casey's Digs here, to their new digs at the former offices of the Burlington College, now owned, better known as Burlington Catholic Diocese at 351 North Avenue. Much bigger campus. Very nice looking, and overrun by pedophiles was the rumor as to how they got the building. Now, my understanding, without reading the next part of this thing, is that the building was put on a finance plan by Jane, so not all of it's paid off, and they're looking to try to open the old wing of the building now. Have you got any solicitation of funds for that one yet?
No, but who buys a building and then moves in there before the entire building is useful, when only one part of it's useful,
Right.
And, and granted, yeah, you do need to start it because of occupancy, because of what the years of which one part was built versus the other, and I understand that, but move over a time in which it's all useful, not just one part is useful. And of course, work did go on, or work has been going with the older part of the building, which has stopped and will not resume until Burlington College sells the housing over there near the old campus in order to be able to continue the construction, the rewiring, the plumbing, or whatever else needs to go on with the older part of the building.
Now, to be fair, just to name what we're talking about, they have properties at Lakeview Terrace. They have properties on Haswell Street, a red building, and they have Palm House and Haswell House on Haswell. And they have a little white decrepit shack where an old lady was found dead in the basement on Lakeview. And that's what they have to sell off. Oh, yeah, I haven't to mention that shack is not inhabitable because of all the mold that's in there. That's probably what killed the owner. Anyway. So, that was my understanding of the thing, and you and I seem to be on the same page.
Yeah.
So it says it's fabulous. We're leaving a 16,000 square foot building on 2 acres to a 77,000 square foot building on 34 acres. Instead of Lakeview, we've got Lakefront. That's a quote from Jane.
But like I said, we move in, only able to use one part of the building. Then work is started on the other part of the building, and then that has to stop until you can get some stuff sold in order to continue the work. I mean, really, who does that,
Right. The move makes Burlington College the only Vermont college with a beach. Okay, what was the point in that beach? And then, Gene goes on to say that I guess, people were, worried about it, but then we took the students there and they went, after an hour of playing frisbee and juggling on the beach and said, we can live with this. That's a somewhat direct quote and somewhat summary of what she said. Intents of a paragraph. Burlington College was founded in 1972, by the way. So, that's mostly that article. Just to finish it, in May 2010, Burlington College purchased, in May 2010, Burlington College purchased the property for $10 million. It says Sanders. They showed it to several people at a higher asking price, $12.5 million. They weren't deed restrictions, so a developer could have put in 600 condos on the waterfront or something. Part of the reason for the diocese was happy offering the property to us was a lower price that we would have had an education mission that services the community. Let's make something perfectly clear here, Colonel. Services the community how? That's the part you never dare to say. You know why? Because she doesn't even know. How? Explain to me. In our time at Burlington College, how did we benefit the community? You can't come up with an answer for that, can you? Because I can't. I know that much.
And this is all her doing. And also, I want to say that all the craziness, the lunacy, the whatever you want to say,
Yes.
doing with Burlington College. I can say with this much. I can say, I can't fully, say with 100% accuracy here, but I can, pretty much say that all the stuff that Jane Sanders and all the various stuff that we've talked about and whatnot, it's safe to say that when the Burlington College was founded by Sula Case, that he did not envision any of this.
Right. Which brings us back to this. Burlington College now plans to double its student body to 400. We will grow
100 shy of
slowly,
being
Sanders
Division
says.
3. Anyhow.
What was it?
I said 100 shy of being Division 3, assuming you have athletic facilities, which of course there is a basketball place at the new campus, and there's enough field in the back for soccer, lacrosse, whatever else you want to do.
Right. Now Sanders says we will grow slowly. I would imagine so, yes. I don't think you're going to go to 400 overnight.
Oh, no.
Especially with Hess still there.
Haha.
Hess being Arthur Hessler. Just so we're clear. So that's that article. So that summation is they bought a building, put themselves in debt, and expanded the college. Physicality-wise, now they have to expand it monetary-wise and student-wise.
Yeah.
And speaking of that, I got a solicitation the other day. Now, mind you, I should backtrack. I want to say it was the summer, I got a solicitation for funds, and I ignored it because it was via mail. I got another that was the spring. I got another solicitation of funds in the summer, and there was an email asking me to fill out an alumni survey. They should know better than to do that. And I said, well, you know what? Okay, I'll fill this out.
Yeah.
And it was stuff like, hey, how would you rate your college experience on a scale of 1 to 10? Stupid question. 2. Being the worst. No, it was like 1 being the worst and 10 being the best. How would you rate your experience? 2. Would you recommend us to one of your friends? No. I might to an enemy, though. If the college were to host an alumni event, what would you like them to host? An apology to me. You don't violate civil rights laws and expect me to, give you money. I'm sorry, you just don't do that.
Yeah.
So then it was, would you like to donate to us? No. If so, how much? None. And these were all questions that you had to answer, so even if you didn't want to give anything, you had to say that several times.
Yeah.
Now, I filled it out in the least favorable way possible, sent it back in the politest way that I possibly could, omitting curse words and the whole bit,
Yeah.
and saying, due to civil rights violations, I cannot in good conscience recommend this school to any friends. And would I donate money? No. Why? See reasons as to why I would not recommend to friends. What kind of events would you like to have hosted? An apology to me for civil rights violations perpetrated by Jane O'Meara Sanders, Arthur Hessler, Sarah E. Mell, Director of Student Services, Barry Snyder, Head of the Film Department, and about a dozen other people that helped those assholes. Now, I'm saying that in the most PG sense of it. They're not assholes in the sense of like they weren't going out of their way to be nasty. They were fulfilling Jane's orders.
Yeah.
Except for maybe Art. He was out on his own. So,
Yeah.
Art and Jane, those two can rot in the place and, the Fallout Space Heater get burned in the wrong place as far as I'm concerned. But, outside of those two, the other people were following orders.
Yeah.
But, there's certain stupid things like, oh, well, I would like to use a digital camera, which I'll get into later. And the stupid response is, no, you can't do that. Well, why not? Well, it's not fair to the other students. Oh, right. I asked for this disability so that I couldn't drive, I couldn't do math very well, I couldn't tell directions to people, I couldn't receive directions as to how to get to and from a place very well. And oh yeah, did I happen to mention that I would have a leg up on other students in an academic setting? Yeah, that makes perfect sense. It's not fair to other people. Right. Stupid shit, people. Stupid shit. And there's a lot of it to choose from, believe me.
Yeah.
That just happened to be the quickest story to come to mind. So, that was the summation of that article. The next few articles basically are that the college needs $5 million, the college is about let's see here. Here we are. Here, the next article is from Burlington College Considers New Leadership. This was September 21st, 2011, and this is from WPTZ.com. An excerpt here. The quirky liberal arts school with 200 students and a $500 million annual budget. Okay, $500 million. What are you doing with the money? In June, the college finalized a $10 million purchase of the former headquarters of the Catholic Diocese of Burlington. 77,000 square foot building is now undergoing expensive renovations. So there's that, and they're talking about Sanders' current employment contract, which includes annual compensation of $160,000. $160,000 annually. It extends through June 2013. Ah, really? Yeah. How is that possible? How? Look at what she did for the school.
Yeah.
Makes no sense. He has hinted, however, that she might not be around until the end of her term, should she and the board continue to differ on a conversation she termed serious, but without animosity.
Yeah.
Burlington College lets Jane Sanders go is the next article. That's about the extent of it. You don't really need to know the specifics.
No, just let her go. You're out here. Look at your severance pay, and you're out of here.
Yeah, well, her severance pay was her salary. This is the insulting part. Her severance pay was her salary, excuse me. Her severance pay was her salary plus like some excessive amount on top of it for 2 years. On top of that, she gets a leave of absence sabbatical for a year, during which time she's going to act on an as-needed basis as a consultant for the college.
Oh.
Ah.
And anybody listening out there who, recently dismissed the president for other reasons, with which I don't agree, but I'm not going to get into those. Such as those over in Happy Valley. Well, actually, that would work with her husband being a senator for Vermont. So, thank your lucky stars, you won't be turning into her. But anybody in Vermont, Middlebury, or anybody else, please don't look at her if you are looking for a new president.
Right.
I mean, because she was president. I should preface this by saying Burton College was not her first. The first place that she dragged into the that she
Dragged into the dirt.
Yeah, she before Burlington College, she had a stint was president at a school that
before Burlington College, she was president at another college that she drove into the ground.
Yeah, and basically to sum it up, they stopped the on-campus part of things. And
Yep, and now they're online only. Yep, I remember that. So then, Jane left the college, and it was cited on the college website that she was leaving, and that she and the board had a amiable disagreement about the future of the college, and that she and the board were both happy with her tendering her resignation. Now, check me if I'm wrong on something, but they don't typically let a president of a college whose contract runs until 2013 go 2 years early.
nope.
So, check me if I'm wrong on this one, but there has to be some reason that isn't given that is less amiable, I would think. Well, Jim?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, here's a doozy for you. The college paid $10 million for that thing. The solicitation that I got in the mail,
Yeah.
was asking or saying that its goal was to get $100,000 to get that old part of the building running again. $100,000. Why would you ask me for a donation for that, given the history?
Huh.
You know, that's just insane. Point number one. Now, the only other article that I have here that's worth quoting from is one, again, from the Burlington College website, burlington.edu. And it is Jane O'Meara Sanders has art gallery named after her at the college. Now, before we both erupt into hideous laughter on this point, would you like to go over the history of why this is so damn ironic? Do you remember? Okay, do you want me to tell you? It is so damn ironic because you'll remember somebody by the name of Dylan Kelly?
Huh?
Okay, do you remember somebody by the name of Ashley LaRose?
Yeah.
Oh, excellent. Then you'll enjoy this story. Ashley LaRose was a photography student who I had the pleasure of having on Burlington College Presents Season 1, the season that aired. And she was on Burlington College Presents Ashley LaRose, photography student. And she did wonderful portraits and landscapes, pictures, and they were wonderfully artistic, wonderful looking, just a pleasant thing on the eye. She knew what she was doing, and she was pretty to boot. Now, this young lady, who was very talented and whatnot, did a photograph of a woman in a shower, and not to offend anybody, but it was a nude photograph, and it was a pelvic up nude of the woman's kneecaps kind of going up, or maybe it was the shins going up, but shins going up, and the center of the photograph was her pelvis. And there you could see a little bit of the breast, but those were cut off at the top of the photograph. And there's running water cascading down over the woman and off towards the camera. And it was just a very nice, well-done shot. And, the woman was never identified in the photograph or anything like that. So, just a nice shot, And there's nothing wrong with it. It wasn't, vulgar. It was an artistic shot. But Jane Sanders comes through and sees this. Now, mind you, Dylan Kelly is responsible for getting this in the Burlington College Art Gallery. Dylan Kelly being a photography student himself, who was also talented and knows what he's doing. And he was a student at the college, and he somehow got the reins of the gallery away from Peter Curtis, because Peter Curtis had it taken away from him by Jane Sanders. And it was handed to a student, so it went from a teacher to a student. Figure that one out. How's that work? It goes from a teacher to a student. The teacher gets paid to be there. The student pays to be there. Something wrong with this picture. Anyway, aside from the purely logistical standpoint, he got reign of these rings. And he organized a bang-up show. A bang-up show. And it was Sarah Mel, him, Ashley LaRose, Mary Vidum, Josh Lambert, I think, had a couple of pieces in there.
Yeah, yeah.
Brenda had one, I believe.
Yeah.
And about a dozen other people that we could recognize from the local community. And a couple from New York. So, these people had wonderful pieces, and it was everything from anti-women's rape stuff through a woman taking the shower, all this other stuff. Now, mind you, out of everything that you could possibly choose from in this article that was written about it, everything that you could possibly have chosen from in that room,
Yeah.
the rape, murder, abortion. Why would you possibly pick on the little picture of a woman in a shower?
Yeah.
Jane Sanders, bless her little heart, and I do mean little, goes and... want to take a second to think about that before I continue? Goes and takes issue with this photograph. Why? Because it might offend some non-existent parents that may come in on a school field trip to see what schools that their kids might be interested in. First off, wait for the reality of it to come true, where a parent might be offended by something like that. Personally, if I were a parent, I'd be a little bit more offended by a rape or an abortion than an art piece than I would by a photograph of water cascading off of a woman in a shower. I don't know about you, but that's my feeling on it.
Yeah, yeah.
So, of all the things to choose, she has to choose this photograph. And she says, I want that removed. I'm pointing with my hand for those who can't see, to the right side of me, which happens to be a wall with, surprise, surprise, pictures hanging on it. So she goes, I want that removed because it might offend a parent on a tour coming to see a place that their child might be interested in.
Yeah.
Now, check me if I'm wrong on this, but at that point there were no tours lined up.
Yeah.
Why would you possibly be worried about that? Then the tours start coming in, and all the parents, wonderful, bravo, great work on this stuff. What was hanging here? Because Jane had the photograph taken down.
Yeah.
And Dan Kelly saw it, and because he was coming back from somewhere, saw it, got incensed by it, rightfully so, because it's censorship, went and said, you're censoring Ashley LaRose's photograph, you're censoring my art gallery, put that picture back. I'm sure he colored it a bit differently, but that was the essence of it.
Yeah.
And so it was put back. Well, Jane saw it and goes, I thought we agreed that we were going to have that taken down. And Jillian, who was running admissions that day, went, well, you kind of can't do that because it's Censorship. I don't know why I just gave her that accent. She was actually, what, Irish?
Irish.
I can't do an Irish accent, that's why I did that. Yeah, but she did that. And it goes, yeah, you can't do that. Well, Jane can't comprehend the word can't. Kind of ironic, but she can't. And goes, oh, okay. Takes the photograph off the wall herself and takes it, puts it in her office, and locks it in a cabinet.
Yeah.
Drop the microphone. Puts it in a cabinet. What the hell?
Yeah, exactly. Ooh,
This is censorship.
it is censorship.
It's censorship. So, Dylan Kelly gets furious, gets a huge petition written up. All the students sign it, all 200 sign it, and the faculty and staff that hear about it sign it in a heartbeat because all he's asking is get that photograph back up on the wall. They sign it, boom, it's fine. There's no issues with the guidance counselors, there's no issues with the parents that come through, there's no issues with members of the community that come through for the thing. It's a smash hit photograph. Everybody loves it. So where was Jane's fear founded? In her own widow mind.
Yep.
So it's all bullshit and it's bad for you, as George Carlin said.
I mean, I can't. I mean, why? It's just censorship, and and I mean, don't do that. You don't take down a taste, a photograph, like that. And whatever, I mean, regardless, you just don't do that. I mean, yeah, sure, it is a college gallery, but still, there is, no mindset of, well, we're a college, so, or whatever, I mean, just don't do that,
Censorship is censorship.
Censorship is censorship, so,
Be it a parent telling somebody you can't say that, or be it somebody saying take that photograph down because it might offend somebody that's non-existent.
yeah.
Censorship is censorship.
Censorship is censorship, and and there have been similar things like this at other schools, and the people or the person who made that decision, I should say, actually, and this is how stupid some of those people are, actually went on to say, well, we're a college. It's fine if they want to have something like up at the Guggenheim, but we're a college. Okay, what does that mean? It's okay for them because they're not a college. They're a gallery that's visited by more people.
Yeah, well, I mean, Jane says
They're a professional art gallery, and you're a college, so I mean.
Well, that's what Jane was saying at the time, though. Was, oh, it's okay for other people, but we can't have that here because it might offend some potential clients. Well, no, because it's art, and people who walk into an art gallery will presumably see just that, art.
Exactly.
And most people who are at the level of looking at a college will understand that art is not always just little kids' scribbles in a coloring book.
Yeah.
So, be that as it may, believe it or not, Jane Sanders imposed censorship on students at Barrington College's artwork. Now, why would I bring that up? Well, let's see. She had an art gallery at the school named after her. Do these people know their president or now former president at all? This woman imposed censorship on students and their artwork, and they give her an art gallery because she did so much to expand the views and artistic expressions of the students. Polar opposite. Where in the heck did these people get their brains from? I swear they pulled it out of a horse's rear.
Yeah.
I mean, irony of irony. You take a dictator censor and you give them an art gallery named after them. The one thing that they censor the most, you name after them. Somebody's got a good sense of humor and doesn't know it. Dear Lord. Then, yeah, there's all these other stories that we can get into. Yeah, let me just check the time while I'm talking here. How about some of the other stuff that happened during that time? Do you remember? Some of the other processes that were going on at the time, like your degree project? What the colonel may or may not have had to do with that? Do you remember? Because I do. I'll take that as a no.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Jane, for better or for worse, gave an order that this was to be your last semester, regardless of how well you did on your degree project. So she demanded that this be it for you, your last degree project. So everybody that had worked with you was pulling for you to do well and was like, we got to give them a Hail Mary pass if something doesn't happen. But mercifully, you came off with a fairly decent product. Yeah, about the only thing that, as everybody said, that they would have changed because the content itself worked, it was just the aesthetics of the content. You know, go back and pull from the original source material and leave the original framing.
And keep in mind that was after, being changed, things being changed up, getting yet a second associates, having to, through, come up with something great for a degree project, having to basically go to Barry and plead my case to continue.
Yep. Oh, I remember. I also remember, though, that, Mike and I were helping you with the degree project. And Mary Arbuckle said to you, well, I want Mike to help you. And had said, we don't really need Nathan's help. Until I started saying, I've got footage that you can use that would help with this, and I'll give it to you to use, and you can use my image. I know that." And then Mike said, "Yeah, you can use mine too." So we had signed off on you using our images, and then according to you, and this is about where we started razzing you on it though, was that you'd said, "Well, Mary doesn't want to see you guys in the shot." And I was like, "Well, now I wouldn't say that." Because I asked her about that. And she goes, "No, I never said that." And I said, "You're either lying to me or you're having a private laugh about something. Which is it?" She goes, "I'm not lying." I said, "Okay, so I have your permission to go back and chastise Casey." And she's like, "Absolutely. By all means, go chastise him right now. As a matter of fact, go, because I got a class." So we went and chastised you about it. But, you had yourself thoroughly convinced that we couldn't be in there. So you shrunk in the sides of the framing and stuff. And yeah, okay, there would have been jump cuts and stuff, but, you could have done audio fades to get rid of the sound before that, and then done crossfades visually, or found other footage to insert, or a chart or something to insert. And we were perfectly willing to help you with that, but push came to shove and came down to crunch time. So you had, aesthetically, it was blurry and the sound was a bit off, but the essence or the substance of what you had was so good that you passed on it. And so, as I said to you, and I still firmly believe this, you should go back to the original source material if you still have it around. If you have Final Cut on that computer of yours, you should go back and recut it to be the way that you had originally intended it to be, in all its original glory. Because that thing worked so well on so many different levels. You know it, where the clips or the original source material, where stuff is. So just pull it and do it up. Go back to that, was it UVM professor that you had in there? Go back, get her interviewed, do it up again.
Yeah, and I remember another number of things. I had recognized I need something in there, something else in there, another element. And so, Burlington College being the place it is, and being one of the interesting good things that happened after I had come out from.
Yeah, I was going to say, you come out of something?
Come out
what's
from.
that closet, was it?
Come out from talking with Barry and Mary. And it was agreed that there was another element that was needed, and so I was beginning to think about that when just by chance at that exact moment because of sound travel. Also because of someone being there that who's is a fellow student and
Go ahead and name drop. Who was it?
Well, I'm talking about Michael Wright, and and that's just by chance because he just happened to be there at the same time in the same on the same floor and all that, and just happened to also himself have Asperger's. So, it's basically one of those things that falls into your lap and you take it.
All right, I would also say go back and get him reshot, but make sure to frame it nice and tight, As opposed to being like that wide angle shot of the board and stuff that you had before. And get nice and tight in there. Like, don't be afraid to use a close-up.
Yeah, yeah.
Don't go super tight on him, but a nice, mid-chest to just above his head.
Yeah.
Wouldn't be bad.
And so and then so that was the case, and then I knew at that point that at some point, and actually did start up this past autumn, from what I believe. It had been discussed about master's program to start up this past autumn. People would ask me if I'd consider that, and I don't have any intentions of doing that. Back then it was because of Jane.
And now?
And now, I don't know. Just I'm not sure if I'm going to venture down that road. If I do, I do. If I don't, I don't. But I do remember a lot of people, saying similar things, or I did ask Michael Limple if he would consider teaching there one day after getting a master's, of course.
Right.
And he said not as long as Jane's here. I can understand that.
That's it for this episode.
Yeah,
I'm
including my
Taves.
first encounter of Jane.
Yeah.
I'm Casey Khoury.
So, again, I'm Nick Taves.
And I'm Casey Khoury.
Thank you for listening, and we'll see you on the next one.
Monday through Friday at 5. She flies around the globe, and from every nation. She's a double-dealing diva with a taste for flavoring. Her itinerary's loaded with moving violations. Tell me where in the world is?
Jan Saunders.
Tell me where in the world is? Where in the world is? Tell me where in the world is? Where can she be? Where in the world is?
Jan Saunders.
Watch your back!
Are you a corrupt politician? Or am I being redundant?